And I think I'm rolling. I am here with radical non-judgment, where I will be judging. I learned this from Aubrey Marcus. And he taught me that you can say the opposite of what you're doing and be successful with it, because he's a polyamorous man, but he was teaching radical monogamy, which means it's so radical that you're polyamorous. So my new thing is I get to judge people whenever I want to. Anyway, hi everyone. I definitely am my own shadow commissioner, and I want to give out a disclaimer that I do not have any ability to judge. I'm just doing it anyway, and that I do not have any certificates. I'm not doing this from any place of authority. I am just me giving my opinions on lots of different things. I want to get to, hold on one second while I want to make sure that I have no volume on my phone, because I prefer to watch the comments from my phone. Oh my gosh, it says there's 5 people here. Yay! Hi, everybody, whoever's here. Today on Curiouser and Curiouser, episode 4, y'all do not know how much I do not like doing this alone. I really like interviewing people. It's so much more fun. But what's great about this is I don't have to schedule anyone. I don't have to learn how to trust anyone. It is not easy to find people to collaborate with. And there's lots of wonderful people, don't get me wrong, but it just has to have like just the right mix, and they have to like your people and your people have to like them. And so anyway, we're going to do a word, 2 truths and a lie, actually 2 of those, and a personal story, and a short list of things that I find very curious compared to the olden days of things that are going on these days. And the way that people are just accepting it, which is really funny to me. But the reason I really do this episode is there's enough stuff on the internet that is clickbait. There's enough stuff that is salacious. There's enough, this person's fighting against this person. And I think it's a lot like, it's like rap music, where they would create the beefs so that people could have the soap opera. It's like today's soap opera. And I want to create something where people come to improve themselves, and they like improving themselves, and they like learning. And I don't care if it's one person or hundreds of people. I feel honored to share these things. And I do believe that the way out of all of the insanity is to literally be of the fruit of the Spirit. And so, like I said, I have a word, 2 truths and a lie, personal story, and then the list. And so the word for today is prudence. And I cannot tell you how much I love this word. And it comes in the Bible along with wisdom. Because like it talks about Lady Wisdom and how wisdom and prudence are together. And it's funny because I never thought to look up the word prudence until I guess it was like 2 years ago. And ironically, it was in a time that I really needed it, because I really believe there's a ton of witchcraft going on in this world. And I think if we could be as crafty as the witches, but with wisdom, we would find ourselves in a far different situation. And so the word for the day is prudence. And I want to share with you, just kind of some of its meanings. So prudence comes from Latin prudentia, meaning foresight or practical wisdom. So it's like not just being intelligent or not just being wise, but having the right use of it. And I think that there's a lot of people that might have a lot of intelligence, but not the right use of it. So I thought that was really interesting. And then, like I said earlier, my favorite part was in Hebrew. It says it translates to craftiness, implied shrewdness, or skills, meaning discretion or insight. And it was the craftiness that I really stuck to, because I was so upset with people who were using things for not good purposes. And it felt like just this whole revelation, like, wow, like we can be just as powerful and crafty, but to do so in a positive way. And so I just thought that was really interesting. And then I wanted to share just Proverbs 8:32. Um, let's see. Now then, sons, listen to me, for blessed are those who keep my ways. Listen to instruction and be wise. Do not neglect it. Blessed is the person who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at my doorposts. For one who finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. But the one who sins against me injures himself. All those who hate me love death. And so I just wanted to share that word. I love words. I love knowing where they come from. And I love how powerful it feels to actually really know what prudence means, opposed to what most people actually think it means. And so next I have two truths and a lie. And this is the worldly version. And then I'm going to do two truths and a lie for a personal one. And then I'll just, I guess, be quiet for a moment and see which ones you believe and which ones you don't. So the first one is people in Spain jump over babies laying on mattresses to cleanse them of their original sins. I will repeat that. People in Spain jump over babies laying on mattresses to cleanse them of their original sins. That's the first one. The second one is U.S. Navy newbies crossing the equator haze any new soldier, honoring King Neptune, like a fun baptism. I'll say that one again. U.S. Navy newbies crossing the equator haze any new soldier, honoring King Neptune, like a fun baptism. That's number 2. And then number 3 is NASA discovered swarms of gram-scale or gram-size spacecrafts that are pushed by powerful lasers towards their destination. Guess which one is true? Guess which one's a lie? Well, there's 3, so there's only one lie. I will give you a moment while I drink my coffee. And if anyone's in the chat and they would like to say which one they think is the lie, they can just say 1, 2, or 3. 1 was Spain jumping over babies. 2 was U.S. Navy newbies being hazed across the equator. And then number 3 was NASA discovering tiny-sized spaceships run by laser beams. And the answer is number 3. NASA discovers swarms of gram-scale spacecraft pushed by powerful lasers towards nearby stars is a lie. It's actually something that they're working towards and have already created the prototypes for it, which I thought was just crazy. And I guess the concept behind this gram-scale spacecraft is that they can send lots of them. And if something happens to one of them, I guess that it doesn't matter because it's just so tiny. And it's like, think about that. That's like a gram is like 1/30th of an ounce. It's a pretty tiny spaceship. But the wild part is that it's propelled by lasers. So God only knows what kind of technology is out there. I have no idea. Okay, so now I'm going to do a personal one. And the personal one is Dodi Fayed, the man who died with Princess Diana, once drove me to Grand Central Station. Number 2, Jim Carrey, the real one, not the one we just saw, had had the same guru as me back in the day, a couple years before I became a Christian. And number 3, Jason Momoa, aka Aquaman, once bought me a shot of tequila in a small airport in Montana. Guess which one is correct? Or no, guess which one's a lie? See if you can discern. See if you can discern. And the answer, or the one that's a lie in that one, is also number 3. I'm not very tricky on my placement. Jason Momoa did not buy me a shot of tequila in a small airport in Montana. However, he did buy one for my daughter, who happened to be there when he bought everyone in the entire bar a shot of tequila. So that is it for 2 truths and a lie. And actually going back to the personal truth of Dodi Fayed being the man who drove me to Grand Central Station is the personal story that I was going to share today. So Dodi was dating one of my roommates in New York City, and he drove both of us to a train station because I had just gotten with an agency, a modeling agency, which I now go, oh my God, why would anybody do that after you keep hearing about all the stuff that happened with Epstein? But anyway, I had just signed on with an agency in New York City, and they had put me up in the models department. This is one of the girls that I live with, and they said, hey, you need to go to Pennsylvania to this training so that, you know, you're going to know how to do go-sees and how to do all the modeling things. And so ignorant me, of course, gets on the, I don't know if we took a train or a bus or we took something. And Dodi Fayed was the one that drove us. And that's what kind of reminded me of the story. But anyway, we get there. I get picked up by one of the people who, I think he was a minority owner in the agency, and get taken back to his house. There were a couple of other girls there, and we were going to all go to dinner. And then the next day, it was like a Saturday, Sunday, we were going to go to this training. But what happened was, the other girl that went with me, she went back to Pennsylvania because she wanted to see her boyfriend, because that's where she was from. So it was just convenient for me to have that person to go to Pennsylvania with, even though she wasn't going to the same thing. She had already been with the agency for a while. And long story short, I get there, we go to dinner. I'm at dinner, and it's this long table. There's a bunch of girls, a few people that work with the, you know, training for the next day, the man that had recruited me, and a girl that was staying at his house, blah, blah, blah. So I go to this dinner, and that's literally the last thing I remember. So I know I was at the dinner. I know that I had ordered, but that's all that I remember. And the next day, I woke up, thank God, at that girl's house, the one who just happened to take the bus with me. I think it was a bus. So anyway, we take this bus to Pennsylvania. She's the one that was there for a different reason. I go to the dinner for the modeling thing. Something happened. I don't know. I literally to this day don't know what happened to me, but I have no recall of it. I just remember in the morning waking up, and I was just lucky as hell because she and her boyfriend decided to go out to dinner, and it happened to be the same place that we were going to. And it was a small town in Pennsylvania, so I don't think that was any like unusual happening. But she said she saw me and that I was acting completely out of it. And she just says, hey, I'm going to take her home with me. And I guess it put the people in a position where they just had to agree, because obviously somebody had put something in a drink or in food or something. I have no idea. And so, long story short, I wake up at her house and she's there with her boyfriend, and I'm like seriously dumbfounded. Like, I don't understand what the heck happened. I don't. And you know what's so crazy? And the whole reason why I wanted to share this story is because I think that there's this expectation of people that are anywhere between the ages of, like, I would say 17 to even 25. I mean, our brain's not fully developed, and I think it all depends on where you come from. Um, and actually, trying to think, before I finish that story, um, no, that's okay. I'll go ahead and finish the story. So anyway, I wake up. I literally am so groggy, and I'm like that girl that didn't really drink that much. I mean, I drank, but never enough to get out of it. I mean, never in my whole life have I drank enough to get completely out of it. Hello from Belfast. It's good to see you too. Thanks for coming. Anyway, I knew that I was completely hungover feeling, and I remember waking up and she just said, "Oh my gosh, Carmen, you were so out of it. Your eyes were like half mast. You looked like you were about to fall over, and then by the time we got you home, you did. Like, you literally crashed out on the couch here." And she had this tiny apartment, or it was her boyfriend's apartment in Pennsylvania somewhere. And long story short, she literally had to take care of me. And what was so crazy is back then we didn't really have words for it. Like, it was even not, I mean, maybe there were movies about it, I don't know, but I had never heard of somebody being roofied. Nobody had ever warned me about somebody, slipping drugs into something. It was really bad. And this is how stupid and naive I was. I'm like 19, 20 years old. And I just think, oh, I don't know what happened. And then I've got to get back to New York, or I'm supposed to be at this. And I was so sick I couldn't go to the event that was there, and nobody got mad at me about it. I had to figure out how to get my stuff from that man's house. So she and I and her boyfriend, he drives us over there to get my stuff. And then when I finally get out of there, while we're leaving, there's a younger girl in his house, and she introduces herself, and I mean, she had to be 15 years old tops, like tops. And as we were leaving, I asked my friend, I said, "Who was she? And why is she staying at his house?" And she said, "I think her mom lets him stay with him because her mom lives in another state and she makes a lot of money." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is literally probably pre-Epstein. This has been going on for so long." And it's funny because you look back at it and now you see it so clearly. But so she and I, he drops us back off at the thing, and we get dropped back off, and then she has Dodi Fayed pick us up again. So she definitely had more than one boyfriend. But I tell that because I was not a stupid girl. I was not a desperate girl. Like, I thought it was really cool to do modeling, but I wasn't going to die for it. Like, I didn't have that huge drive like some people do to get attention or whatever. And I was listening to a podcast the other night, and this woman was talking about how she thinks that anyone 15 years or older knows the game, and that what are they doing in a man's house, or what are they doing in this situation or that situation. And I think I understand from her perspective why she says that. She says that because she didn't grow up the way that some of these other girls did. So there's two ways that could go. One, you could be raised so horribly that you think it's normal. And so of course you're not going to be, knowing how to defend yourself. Kind of like, I would say, if you've read Virginia Giuffre's book, But then there's the other end of that, which would have been me. And that is, if somebody grows up completely insulated and they aren't on to what somebody would call game, then how would they know? And I guess how I could prove that is, even an adult, the very first time an adult plays a game of any sort, Caftan or, Monopoly or whatever, if you've never played it as a kid, it takes a while until you figure it out. And this is as an adult. And so I just wanted to share that because I think there's a lot of young women that are either too naive, or some that are have been so abused and they're the opposite of naive. And I think that it would be good for us to understand that there's a lot of different perspectives when it comes to that. Glad the left finally cares about Epstein. Yes, me too. And then I agree with this one. No young women have freaking idea of the power they have and what can be stolen from them. That would be my opinion. But this girl, and she was adamantly, she was screeching. And it's funny because it takes a lot to trigger me. It really triggered me because I was like, no, I'm actually proof of that. I was 19, 20 years old, and I almost got myself put in one of those situations. And had they followed through with what they were doing, if they, took pictures and said they would send it to my parents, oh my God, I would have died. And so I do think there's a lot more innocent women out there at older ages than people think. And especially if they come from a really good family and a good community. I came from like a small, farm town in Illinois, and there wasn't anything like this. I mean, I could not have been prepared for it. And then even once, COVID happened and I started realizing how evil is, I was still in shock. And I mean, how old was I then? That was 6 years ago. I was 50. So like 6 years ago, I still didn't have an idea of how evil really is. And until you understand the game, you just won't know. And it's funny because still to this day, things will happen. And I'm like, gosh, you just can't make that stuff up. And so so there's my story about being roofied. It's the only time of my life that has ever happened. And of course, it's like literally, I think it was like the second week I was in New York City. I hated New York City. I don't know why people love it so much. I think it's a cesspool personally. And I think I had to go back once for business or something since then. But my daughter loves it and so many other people love it. And I just am like, get it away from me. It's disgusting. And so anyway, to that trampy girl that was bitching about young women, she really inspired me to tell that story because I was 19 when that would happen. And then I was a little bit older when my dumbass invited someone up to my room in a hotel when I was like 22-ish, because I thought he was a friend and I had known him forever. And I didn't think ever that he would do anything. And he tried. And I kept saying, no. And I had to be aggressive about it. And so I just think if you get a chance to tell any woman, never, ever, ever, ever go to a hotel room with a man, never invite a man, never be alone with a man that you are not, wanting to have intimate moments with. It's just not worth it. Meet him in the lobby, meet him somewhere else. It's ridiculous how off game young girls can be in understanding that a man is running game on you. And I feel bad for these women that get caught in it because it is so evil, and they really do come at it often. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some hookers out there that have been trained and they need to be in deliverance, and they actually bring other people into it. And as a matter of fact, Maria Farmer and Madison Marquette, a lot of the people, Cheryl Beck, they'll tell you that the worst offenders and the people that were horrible to them were often women, or the ones that, were like the Ghislaine Maxwell types that were pulling people in. So anyway, that was my story for the day. And then I have like a small list I wanted to share with y'all. I don't know how long this will take, but um, just how bizarre things are, even though I think they've always been, they haven't been revealed yet. But one of the things is there's an there's an animal in the Bible that I had never heard of, and it's called a cockatrice, and it is part snake, part bat wings, part rooster. So it has a rooster head, it has bat wings, and has a lizard body. And apparently this is in the Bible. And I couldn't find it except in the King James version. And then I did kind of check out like what is it? And it supposedly comes from the basilisk, and how it, was afraid of, weasels and other things. And so that, since that was its weakness, there was this egg and a toad laid on it and all this crazy stuff. But a cockatrice was born, and a cockatrice is something that if it looks at you, it can turn you to stone. And it's supposedly, even if it breathes on you, then you could turn to stone. Or what else? I think there was one other thing. Oh, and if it pecks you, it could turn you to stone. And it's a size shifter also. It can become really, really big or really, really little. And I just thought that was really weird, because I've been reading the Bible since I was 38 years old on a regular basis, and I have never come across that. And I thought it was really kind of interesting. The other thing that I thought was really interesting that was on X was the vacuum story, about how this man bought an automatic, like Roomba type vacuum, and he wanted to be able to control it from a controller, like his like Nintendo or PlayStation or whatever. I don't know. And he literally asked AI how to do it, and AI told him. And next thing you know, he had control of over 7,000 vacuums. And I just love to share those kind of stories with people, because I cannot believe how dangerous that is. Like I have things that are smart devices, but I turn them off when I'm not using. And I don't just turn them off, because in Texas there's a lawsuit about this, because a smart TV that's off can still be looked into. It has to be unplugged. And so I have, a walking mat. I have a one of those vibrating plates. I have, God, I can't even think. I have so many devices, and I only turn them on by plugging them in and out, because I just can't stand having the invasiveness, and the fact that this guy could gain control over 7,000 vacuums is very bizarre. Like, we really have come to a new place in the world. And then the guy wrote, his name is Pranay Pathole. Who knows how these people choose their names? They're kind of trolling names, I think, sometimes. But he says, this is what tech enthusiasts are saying. My entire house is smart, but the actual tech workers, this is what they're saying. The only piece of technology in my house is a printer, and I keep a gun next to it so I can shoot it if it makes any noise I don't recognize. I know, exactly. He wasn't even trying. Like, it is crazy. Like, how do we live in a world where that is possible? Another thing, like, I work part-time in the finance world, and I am amazed at how difficult it is for people to get their money. Like, oh, this was wrong, or oh, that was wrong, or yes, we did get your check, but we have to hold on to it for 100 days before we can give you your money. And I'm exaggerating, but it's become ridiculous. You can even transfer from a business account into a personal account. And it used to be you could get it right away, and now it's got to wait a day at least. And if it's a big amount, oh no, we've got to wait 2 days. Like I do not understand how anyone can think that AI life is better. I do see lots of great things about it, but I also don't think it's as solid as they want us to believe it is. The other thing that I think is so crazy right now, getting curiouser and curiouser, are the people just insisting now that the government is admitting that there are UFOs, and there's this huge fight online over whether they're interdimensional or extraterrestrial. And I just want all of the people that wonder what my judgment is, and that is that they are demonic, fallen, Nephilim technology. So if you want to call that a UFO, then we're in agreement. No, I didn't read that about X being a financial hub. Oh, wait, I kind of do remember back in the day when he was first saying he wanted to be like that Chinese app that's like everything, does everything. Yeah, it's crazy. The world is curiouser and curiouser. The other thing that I have been just disgusted by is the amount of plastic surgery that's going on, and how I also think it's kind of like, I look back and I think about Cher or some of the other Madonna types from back in the day, who their job is, we're going to give you millions of dollars, but you have to say crazy stuff that we tell you to say. And you have to have babies out of wedlock, and you have to do this, that, and the other, because that's part of their contract, right? They're not going to get millions without doing Satan's work, in my opinion. And so I see like this, Jim Carrey thing. And I look at that and I go, first it was Mickey Rourke came out looking crazy. And then now Jim Carrey, that didn't look like Jim Carrey. That didn't sound like Jim Carrey. And then Jim Carrey's team is saying, oh, it was him. And then people are saying, no, it's this other guy that did it. And here's him doing it, blah, blah, blah. All I have to say is I have come to believe that they do all kinds of things that defile the beautiful human. And so when somebody's looking at that and they go, oh wow, Jim Carrey, like he changed his eye color, I want to change my eye color, or so and so did this, then what happens is that opens up that whole new portal for more and more bizarre plastic surgery. The Catwoman, all of the different things that people have done. It just seems to be getting more and more weird. And my daughter is young, and like she knows people her age that are getting plastic surgery. Like, what the heck? I really do believe that's kind of an evil portal, even though I have participated in the past. If I had to do it over again, I wouldn't. I just think that it's just not worth it. And I never got into Botox or any of that stuff. I think it makes people's faces look kind of dead, or it's like they were saying like Nicole Kidman couldn't act anymore because of her Botox or whatever it was that she was doing to her face. So that's the other one that I was like, okay, that whole area and how it's gone into, trans and, just so many different areas than it ever has. And so in Los Angeles, definitely had friends get lips done. I know I have a friend, she can't even look at her daughter. She said like, it hurts me to look at my own daughter, because she went from looking like this beautiful 30-year-old to somebody that really is trying so hard. And even though she's 30 and perfect, she now looks like a 40-year-old trying to look 30, if that makes sense. And it literally drives her nuts. And then you have Pamela Anderson coming out like completely the opposite, like no makeup, no whatever, more power to her. There we go. So the next one that I have on here. Oh, and then too, like there's a whole bunch of people like Jim Carrey that don't look like who they used to look like, which I don't know if they're trying to promote that whole like scarring a human, hurting a human, um, defiling human is a bit my favorite way of saying it, because Zac Efron, I don't know if y'all have seen him recently, but his jaw is just huge and looks like a comic book. Like he looks horrible. And people are like, oh, that's what did they say? Oh, that was like steroids or something. I'm like, I don't think steroids makes your jawbone grow like that. Yes, I guess it's part of the spell traps. That is a very good way of saying it. I agree. And so then I have lots. I'm a doctor magnet. I have tons of doctor friends. I don't know why. I guess because I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, I had a doctor friend text me this week and say, oh my gosh, you're right. You were right about so many things, Carmen. I'm just in shock. Like, you will not believe what's happening now with umbilical cord stem cells. She goes, let's not mince words about it. It's basically blood from newborns. And that just, I don't know why. Like, I think knowing that, like, I would believe that, and I know that, but hearing it from a doctor is really disturbing to me, because that means that it is happening and that doctors do know about it and that nothing's really being done about it. And people keep justifying, like, I have friends that do stem cells and they're like, oh, they're from umbilical cords or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but that's still newborn blood. Like, what are you doing? It's like, I saw a video of Kenneth Copeland the other night, and I don't know when this video happened, but he literally cut his hand, and he had another guy cut his hand, and they squeezed blood, supposedly, into their grape juice and mixed it. Like, that is so crazy to me. Like, I don't understand this whole blood thing. Like, I'll never understand it. And then the other thing that I think that has become so bizarre is people pushing for this like one world religion, this Catholic thing. And it's so blatantly obvious to me. Like, I don't understand how people can't see it. But when people, like, I'm sorry, Candace, what good is it to be a Catholic? I don't understand. I don't think there's anything that you have to do. Like, I remember being a Catholic and people going, it's great to be a Catholic. You can do whatever you want and ask for forgiveness. Like, they don't read the Bible. There is no like Bible study. The only thing a Catholic has to do is go through catechism. And catechism I went through because I was going to marry a Catholic way back. And it was the most non-biblical, like, it was, I don't even understand what they were teaching. It was like not even, it was nonsensical. Basically they were teaching you how to go to church is what they were teaching you. And so I just think that for people to be really cautious of this whole, like, what's his name? The one that baptized people in his underwear, Russell Brand, who also has another accusation. Like, come on, people, this is not a religion. Like, if we cannot discern from just using a simple measuring tool of the fruit of the Spirit, does a person that we take seriously in faith baptize someone in their underwear? No. Okay, so he's not a real, he's fake, right? So just be careful about this one world religion. It is very curious. And then just a side beef drives me crazy that they can keep anything off of social media that they want to keep off, including anything that I do, because I used to have tons of people looking at my stuff, and it's just gone way down. And the day that it happens, because you see the difference, you've lived it. And it's so amazing to me that they have this technology and it can do so many things. But it cannot recognize when Don Huffines keeps sending me information to vote, all kinds of crap after he buys the Epstein Ranch, and he wants me to go vote. And I'm so frustrated because I almost feel like that delete and report spam button is really like, oh, good, someone's there, it's confirmed, you can keep sending it, because I just get more and more of them. It's the biggest regret I have of, I signed up for Trump's texts in 2015, 2016. And ever since I signed up for that, every Republican in the world has my phone number and can text me, and I hate it. And so that's another thing that drives me crazy. And I find it very curious that they can't do anything about, like, nothing. What else do I have on my list? Charities suing the abused. I just had on Cheryl Hope from Get a Life podcast, who was essayed by her own, we'll call it a cult, they call it a church, charity, many, many years ago for an extended period of time. And she is now being sued by them. It's just, I mean, how crazy is that? Talk about the ultimate turnaround. And I think that's the part that I the curiouser and curiouser, like, you just have to get to a point where you're able to hold who you are and stick with that and know right from wrong by using your own measuring stick, because it's gotten so bizarre out there that none of it even makes sense, where the people who are accusing someone are turning around and being sued in the courts. Like, how do we even get to that place? It's unbelievable to me. It's like, it's actually, it reminds me a lot of what's going on with the Republicans, because there were so many people who were very, very concerned that, you know, the deep state was a thing. And yes, it is a thing, but it's not a thing that the Republicans are working on. And so I think a lot of people fell for that. A lot of really good people fell for that. And then they take it and then they go, oh, trust the plan. He's got it on. He is, all these Republicans, they have it figured out. They're just going along with it for 8 to 10 to 12 to 20 years so that they can bring in the bad guys and bring down. I mean, come on, we've got to, like, stop. We have to stop believing this stuff. Like, what are we doing here? And then another one that I was just thinking about is how, like, now that we've discovered through Epstein that not only were there spies that were spying on spies that had backup plans to their backup plans to totally different, you know, agencies. Like, we got to start having our own plan. We got to be like wicked smart. We got to have our own, what I was talking about earlier, the prudence. We got to take a lot of that craftiness and the smart and start putting it towards the wisdom. And wisdom will tell you that if you have something happen over and over and over again, that it's not going to change. And so we watch the pendulum go this way, and we watch it go this way, and we watch it go this way, never climbing towards the center. And so if you want to stay on the curiouser and curiouser route, like, more power to you. But I'm really trying to help encourage people to move and to do and to use their actual talents, their actual smarts, because I really believe that they don't have what we have. I don't think they can come close to having what we have. They bet on and do everything they can to knock us off center, the same way an abusive, narcissistic man does everything he can to undermine a woman and to make her off center. It's exactly the same thing, only on a much larger scale. And so if you can realize that you're the that we're all the abused woman, and if we keep going to them to find validation, that we're never going to get out of this circle. We're going to just stay on this hamster wheel, and I'm tired of it. Okay, so then the other thing was people falling in love with AI. I mean, literally marrying AI, doing all kinds of crazy things with AI. Oh, on the plastic surgery, I forgot to tell you, there was one on the plastic surgery that there is a man, this is the craziest example of, in my opinion, how lost someone can be in a portal called plastic surgery. This man went and had 37 different surgeries so that he would look different so he could go back and get his old girlfriend. Why does he want her anyway? Never go back. Never go back. All right. So let's see. Yeah. People falling in love with AI, AI telling people to do things and them doing it. Like people literally going to their AI, asking questions about their personal life. Yes, he is a psycho. Totally agree. Psycho. Oh my gosh, y'all, it has become so crazy. And then I recently discovered that Gen Z doesn't like going to clubs. And the reason they don't like going to clubs is because they're going to be embarrassed of how they dance on camera. So they're all using cameras when they want them, but they don't want them out in real life. So because they don't have control over it. So then it means that they won't go to a club, they won't hang out with people, they won't, because they're afraid somebody will catch them on camera. How nuts is that? How nuts is that? And then I would like to vote Erica Kirk the widow of the millennia because nobody has played it worse. Ever, 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 ever. And then I've got a couple more. But the last one is, I think, crazy. And I'm almost there. So Wexner finally gets questioned. How weird is this? How curious is it that this man gets questioned, but he doesn't have to bring proof for anything? And he can just go, I don't know. I don't know. I'm really happy. Don't get me wrong. I'm super happy that he's been questioned. But how nuts is it that he didn't have to bring any supporting papers? He didn't, I mean, it's disgusting to me. Absolutely disgusting. And then, oh, I was going to tell you guys something. I really like this lady. What is her name? Rotting Jewels. Because she is exposing Candace. And don't get me wrong, Candace is so beautiful, so entertaining, so smart, so everything. But her story is super sus. And I think it's funny that she spends her life going and digging into people's past when hers is as weird as it is. And this lady at Rotting Jewels was saying that she believes the whole thing is connected to Scientology and that she will never, ever, ever, ever admit that. So I thought that was really interesting and very bizarre. How weird is it if that's true that Candace Owens, who's outing Brigitte, who's outing Erica Kirk, which I have no problem with, is being outed? Like, when does this end? I think we should all just go outside and plant herbs and enjoy life. As a matter of fact, I'm super excited because I have an entire security team of birds that as soon as anyone comes on in my area, they're like chirping at them because they're mad. They're blocking them from getting into the bushes and stuff. It's so funny. And for the first time ever, I successfully sprouted Thai basil because those little suckers are hard. And I just figured that out. But you got to go have like a real life. But let me tell you the last very bizarre thing that I discovered. And it's kind of the most curious thing I've probably heard in a while. And there's this thing called PMSR, and it's posthumous sperm retrieval. And it is done by the Israeli military. And they do this Here, I'll read the historical first case. The first documented instance occurred with Kevin Cohen, a 19-year-old soldier killed by a sniper in Gaza. His parents obtained Supreme Court approval to retrieve and freeze his sperm, later using it via surrogate to have a granddaughter named Osher, now around 22 years old. Prior to this, the practice was not established in Israel. Like crazy, y'all. They actually have what one guy on Twitter called he calls it the cum squad, where they literally go out and they try to retrieve this within 12 to 24 hours. But what's so crazy to me is how it like has totally gone crazy. So it says recent developments. The procedure surged after October 7th, 2023. Hamas attacks and the Israeli military streamlining it, no longer requiring immediate court approval for retrieval. I'm sorry, that is just so bizarre. Okay, this is interesting. I bet they do. This is why we have to have prudence with our wisdom. We got to be able to use our own smarts. The marine, oh, look at you, V. You're on it. Oh my gosh, y'all. It is crazy. Okay, so let me finish. No longer requiring immediate court approval for retrieval. By late 2025, over 250 soldiers and security personnel had undergone it since the war started, offered routinely to families. Sperm remains viable for up to 72 hours after death, enabling preservation for potential future use. Let's see what the success is. Studies from Israeli medical centers, such as the Shamir Medical Center from 2003 to 2021, report sperm cryopreservation in 94%, even up to 40 hours post-death, using testicular sperm extraction method. Ideal for fertility treatments, and it was, all right, let's see, was retrieved in 47% of the cases, with significantly higher cases shorter. I'm not understanding why, even as a mother, if I lose my son, I'm sorry. I do not want his sperm. I'm not going to the Supreme Court for it. It is just absolutely crazy. All right, let's see what else it says here. General literature, I don't know what that means, confirms nearly 100% sperm recovery and 80 to 90% motile sperm success within 36 hours. I have to look up motile. That's a new word for me. And then the outcomes, once retrieved, the cryopreserved, the sperm support standard IVF success rates via cytoplasmic, I don't know what that word is, sperm injections, ICSI, we'll just call it that, unchanged from live donor sperm. Usage is higher among married deceased. I know. That is so, like, why would she want that? Like, what's wrong with those parents? I guess because they wanted a granddaughter. I guess they had maybe somebody that'd been married forever, but they said he was 19. Like, I'm sorry. Oh, I just don't get it. That's when you are committed to the line, the family line. You are committed to it, because I can't relate on any level to grabbing that sperm. Like, I don't get it. I think it needs to rest in peace. Oh my gosh, y'all, I thought I had heard it all, like things being stolen out of hospitals. Yeah, just everything's gotten stranger. So I think the message is to do normal things. Do normal things and use your own God-given wisdom and prudence. And so also, I wanted to tell you guys, I am offering 2 things that I have never done anything like this. You guys all know I don't advertise my life coaching. I mean, I have had like little sponsors from here to there, but I didn't even enjoy doing that. So I quit doing it. But I have 2 offerings. One offering is a snail mail thing. So for $17, I will send you something in the mail that will be uplifting and have something to do with emotionally spying on yourself and becoming a better person, whatever. Um, how you will get access to this is to Venmo me. And my name is very clearly just CarmenSmithStuder on Venmo. The $17. And when you do that, or if you want to do it for 2 months, yeah, I'm only going to send them out once a month. I'm going to try it for a few months, see how it goes. But if you want, 2 months, then, double that number. If you want 3 months, I am Gen X all the way. I am not into complicated things. I am not going to do anything extra. I'm not going to do it on PayPal. I'm not going to do it on Squarespace. The offer is on Venmo. I will send you a black envelope and it will be something that you get in the mail. And I just want to start bringing back the old ways. I don't like everything being so disconnected. I want to start getting like real mail from people. And so I thought I would offer that. The other offer I have is for $30, because this will take me longer. I have a form that people can fill out and you write about yourself and then I judge you. And I'm a very nice judge when it comes to personal things, but it is going to be kind of like a quick pull of the Band-Aid. So it won't be like, I'm going to actually answer these. I'm going to call them, that's the Sherlock Holmes thing. So if you want to do the Sherlock Holmes thing, again, Venmo, no other way to do it. And all you have to do is give your email, and then I will send you all of the information that you need to make sure that you can do it. But when I do the Sherlock Holmes thing, when I judge you, it is not truly a judgment. It will be done with grace and compassion. However, it will be an honest assessment. And that's going to be a faster process than like if I'm working with you. If I'm working with somebody, I can assess so easily. So this is going to be in general. It's not going to be perfect. It's just a judgment. And I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to do. And I think it could help. Some people just like to get a second opinion on things. I have a client that I work with that like literally we talk on the phone and all he wants to do is vent, and that's cool. He knows how much I cost. If that's what he wants to do, that's up to him. But I have other people that really want to get work done, really want to improve, and then get out the door. And so I'm able to, when I'm working with somebody, get a feel for what it is that they want. And so when it comes to this Sherlock Holmes letter, it's going to be very straightforward and calling somebody out basically exactly the way I'm reading it. And there'll be a few questions, but it's mostly going to be where you write about yourself. And so if anyone's interested in either one of those, the description is, the information is in the description box, just a little bit of information. The rest of the information will come when it actually happens. And I kind of hope this like takes off, because I just want like real stuff in the world. I'm so over old stuff, and I don't want to do any like sign up online and then we automatically take your money every month. And I hate that stuff. I just had Opus Clips charge me for, another year, and I had to fight with them on the phone. I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to do it to other people. Anybody have any questions? Because if not, I'm going to roll out. Thank you, Wendy. You're so sweet. All right, guys. Have a wonderful week. Please do normal things. Don't get into the curiouser and curiouser. Go look up prudence and apply it effectively to your life, please. Bye, everybody.